Hey everyone, my name is Wyatt, and this is my little channel called Humbly Made by Wyatt, where I like to make things. If you saw my last video, then you know I'm working on a quilt, the sunset quilt, and this quilt is for one of my best friends named Chris. I designed a quilt that's gonna look like a setting sun. It's got like that color wash, all those oranges and dark, rich colors in it, and it's beautiful. And I got that quilt top done in my last video, but today I would like to get that quilt onto the frames. Now, putting a quilt on the frames is much easier with two people. If you know how to do it with just one person, please teach me, because I don't know how. But it's much easier with two people, and so I've asked my mom if she'd be willing to help me, and she is. But I know for payment she's gonna want some freshly made scones. So this morning I'm gonna start off by making her some citrus coconut scones. Anyway, so I'm gonna get making those scones, and then when she's ready and we've had a bite of our scones, then we'll go ahead and get my quilt onto the frames. What has only been a few seconds for you has been 2 weeks for me, 2 weeks of hand quilting this. I've been doing something different than what I normally do. When I normally quilt, I usually use a hand quilting thread and then really small needles. So I use like this hand quilting thread and then these quilters in betweens, which are tiny, tiny little needles. But for this quilt, I'm doing what I'm calling my homely house stitches, because I was really inspired by Kate from the last homely house. And she does big stitch quilting, and she doesn't have a frame, she just does it on her table, which is incredible to me. I don't know how people quilt without a frame, because I like to have my two hands free. One hand's working on the bottom and this hand's working on the top. But anyway, so I am using this crochet thread, and then I'm just pulling it through a bit of beeswax to wax it, which I also learned from Kate. But yeah, so I've just been going along, and I'm just kind of eyeballing my lines here. I'm not too worried about being in a straight line. I don't mind the kind of more organic look if my lines are a little wavy, but straight lines are not healthy, so I don't care. I am proud to say that I quilted this all by myself this time, no help from my mom. But it is a little bit faster with the big stitch quilting, and I'm only going in one direction. So I did the whole around the edge of the quilt, the like whole border, and then I'm just going across the vertical lines. These blocks finished are 4.5 inches, so it's every 4.5 inches I'm going across straight, which should be more than enough quilting to hold this all together, and I'm not worried about the batting moving around once it's washed and finished. I'm gonna keep quilting here and get these last 3 rows all finished, and then I'll be sure to show you some footage of getting my binding strips prepped and ready to go, and then sewing on my binding. I'm gonna turn on an audiobook and listen to an audiobook as I get through here on my quilting, and I'll see you at the end. I'm just working on sewing up my very last corner here of the quilt. The way the facing works is that once it's sewn on, it creates this little pocket in the corner where the two side strips hide. And so when I sew on my binding or my facing, I do the long strips first all the way underneath the little pocket, and then I stitch down the pockets or the corners very last. This quilt has been in the back of my mind for 2 years, which is crazy to me that it's taken me this long to do it, but now that we're at the end, it was absolutely worth the time, and it's gonna be such a wonderful gift to give to my friend Chris. I know that she's just gonna love it just as much as I do. I'm just going to create a little knot, bury my thread, and this is the very last stitch done. Pull that through and snip it off. Well, everyone, that is a finished quilt. I couldn't be any more tickled with how this quilt came out. It's really cool when you have an idea in your head and then you're able to put it on paper and then take that even another step forward and bring that into like an actual tangible object you can hold, which is definitely this quilt for me. I'm very grateful that I get to spend a few days with it, and I get to feel it and look at it and touch it and see it and enjoy it for a few more days until I send this off to its new home with my friend Chris. Until my next video, happy crafting and happy sewing, and bye for now.